Hello, it's the 13th of December and after a 10-day hiatus from my attempt at Vlogmas, I've just popped back on to say hello and to do a quick update really. You will have seen my little montage of our decorations, which hopefully wasn't too shaky with the camera. I'm not so great with the zoom on the camera, so I tend to move it closer, but it's still not brilliant. Anyway, you got an idea. We're all fully festivity-fied here at Sheep and Cheerful HQ, and I just thought I would come on very quickly, and it is for me going to be very quickly. In fact, look at this. Okay, hey Siri, set my alarm for 20 minutes.
Your alarm is set for 14:48.
There you go. I am only going to talk for a maximum of 20 minutes because I didn't want this to be longer than half an hour, partly because I'm still getting myself sorted, and if I waffle on at you as long as usual, then that'll be me gone for the rest of the week. And nobody's got time, have they? It's Vlogmas, for goodness sake. There's so many great things to watch. So moving on. First of all, I just wanted to say, if you're a viewer of my regular podcast, I say regular in the loosest sense of the term, you will know that every December we do a Christmas Carol read along, and I just wanted to come and say that I have finished. So I used my Barnes & Noble copy this year. I do seem to collect different copies of A Christmas Carol because I love it, and I don't know, something about this year. The previous years I've kind of read a stave or a chapter each week leading up to Christmas. Couldn't wait this time. It really hit home this year. Isn't it funny how you can read the same thing time and time again, but it means different things to you? I really enjoyed it. So hopefully all of you who are reading it out there, who do this with me, I hope you're enjoying it too. I also started to read, just before we get on to the knitting, there will be some knitting content. I am reading now the Biography of Dickens by Simon Cowl. I'm about a third of the way through. It reads just like one of Dickens' novels, and as I say, you really begin to see where his characters and his life experiences were pulled into his novels. But I'm sort of picking that up and putting it down. But yeah, really enjoying that. And then just very quickly, I found it in a little bookshop, not in a bookshop, in a stationery shop I went to. I found this. I'm going to bring it as close as I can to the camera so you can see it. So it's a little copper tin, and the quote, that the library ticket quote on the front says, "I will honour Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all the year." And if you open the tin, it's candles. Well, candles, there's 2 wicks. And it's tangerine and juniper clove. I don't think I showed this on my last Vlogmas. I hope not. If I do, I apologise. But it's so lovely. I've no plans to burn it. I just want to sit it on my shelf so that it looks cool. Right, let's get on with some knitting because, as we know, there's a countdown going on. Oh, have I done much knitting? Mostly blanket knitting, but I have finished sock number 1 of my gumdrop nugget my gumdrop nugget socks from Yarn Cafe Creations. So there you go. Actually, having said a few weeks back that I didn't like the pooling, I think it's turned out really nicely. I think the green toes, which is Lottie Knits, a mini skein from one of my advents last year, I think really sets it off. So yeah, that's just a vanilla sock with a fish lips kiss heel and a normal round toe, wedge toe, something like that. But it's very pretty. I really like that. And I've just finished the cuff of sock number 2 because I've not been doing a lot of knitting because of the problems with my shoulder. But the knitting I have been doing has been mostly on blankets or on this next project I'm going to share with you, which is, Henry's just jumped up on the sofa behind me, the Bubble Cowl by Stephen West. I was going to say Simon Cowell. The Simon Cowl. Sorry. I started this with my Advent. Last year I splurged and got an Advent calendar from Amy and Jen at Dandelion and Dogwood Yarns, and it was beautiful. It was called A Very Christy Christmas. Sorry, that's Honey also jumping on chairs. And it was based on Agatha Christie's books and a lot of Miss Marple, some Poirot and so on. And I got through them all. I was going to get this done, then I got to about day 15 and just couldn't get on with it, as in too much else to do. So I put it aside, and this year I thought I'm going to pick it up to knit again this Advent. I didn't buy any Advents this year, and this is where we're going with it. So there you go. It's really looking, I mean, it's going to be massive, and to be honest, it's probably not going to be cold enough in the UK to ever wear this, because it's knit as a tube, and then you knit, oh my goodness, I mean, I'm probably only a quarter of the way around, and then you join it up, and it's just an infinity cowl scarf thingy. But isn't that pretty? It's so pretty. And I'm holding the Dandelion and Dogwood mini skeins. I'm holding them double with some drops Surrey alpaca, my favourites. Do you remember this cardigan, the Rubelite cardigan? I also held the drops alpaca with this as well. Honey is now sitting behind the camera as if she's the director. Hopefully she won't knock it off the table. So yeah, I've been putting some rounds on this. It's not a difficult pattern. It's a little bit fiddly diddly when you're using the Surrey alpaca, because this is one of those where you have to pick up a stitch from 6 rounds below, and you drop it off the edge of the needle, and it doesn't drop off naturally because of the Surrey. But I think it's looking pretty good. So I'm going to finish it and see where we go with that. So that was that one. And that's in one of my favourite project bags, which is a Plystra one that I bought from Edinburgh Yarn Festival a couple of years ago. So they're the two kind of garmenty things I've been working on. And sorry, I'm really distracted by Honey. She's trying to get onto the sideboard. I have cast on I think I told you my prayer blanket, my prayerful blanket, which is based on The Coziest Memories by Kemper Ray. And the idea of this is we've got a make along going along, and I'm encouraging everyone to basically just take a bit of time out, a bit of quiet time to sit as they work on their project. It doesn't have to be a blanket. And being mindful, offering prayers, listening to God, and just really being quiet and listening for that still small voice, if you possibly can, if you're not in a household with loads of children or four-legged friends. She's jumping off the table again now. There's more details in the Ravelry group, the Sheep and Cheerful podcast group, if you want to go and have a look. I have said that this month I'm focusing on gratitude. I'm making this out of Lay Family Yarn minis, and I'm using Kelly and Nick are dyeing. You will have all heard of the Squiddle Village story that they're doing with minis, and I was so enchanted by that idea that I decided to do my blanket out of that, and this is where I've got to. So it's nothing mind-blowing. The thing is, I can't just pick it up whenever, because I want to make sure when I do pick it up that I just have a still time. I've not got any telly or podcasts or anything like that on, and I can just focus on a conversation between for me and God, basically. So I'm also alternating this with a cream and undyed Drops Nord, which is an alpaca blend, but it's not the same as the Drops alpaca. Now I I had a right old pickle trying to do this, and I ended up going to Ellie's YouTube channel, Craft House Magic, and she's got a tutorial on how to pick up and join these squares, because I was doing it and they were just looking so messy, which is why I came back here and started the second row, because I thought, well, probably once you join in the second row it will start to look a bit more solid, and I'm really pleased it does. So this is actually, so the first row is going to be January's minis, because Kelly sells them 2 months in advance. The second row will be February's, the third will be March, and so on. So I've still got quite a lot of these, because it's, I think I'm going to do 30. That doesn't seem right. That's going to be massive. I don't know, but I'm going to use at least one square of each colour for the width, but we'll see. So anyway, yeah, that's, I think you can see that, can't you? It's, the shapes are a little bit weird and wonderful, but they do seem to, you know, square off when you put them together. And I'm using, I bought myself some straights for a change, some 3mm Knit Pro Zings, and I'm really enjoying using them, except to keep bashing myself on the bust with the end of it. I couldn't get any shorter ones. These are 25 centimetres. But anyway, so that's that, and I did treat myself, even though we're not supposed to buy Christmas presents. I bought this. It's like a cotton rope basket, and that is going to be my prayerful blanket, my prayer blanket in there. And I bought this from, in the UK, it's a shop called Dunelm, and it's a bit like a British IKEA, but a lot of smaller scale. And I found this, and I thought it was really inexpensive, and I thought that would be great for that blanket. But when I first decided I wanted to cast on another blanket, I actually was going to use my minis, because I've got lots of minis and lots of leftovers, and that stresses me a bit. So, but then of course I fell in love with the Squiddle Village minis. So that blanket isn't actually gonna make any headway into my minis. So I decided I wanted to make a crochet blanket, because having just finished one for Hannah, which I popped on Instagram, so you'd have seen that, I decided I was going to, and I tried a couple of different things. I tried, I was going to do a corner to corner patchwork one, but that seemed a bit too complicated, the pattern that I found. I saw a really lovely one on Instagram. Then I found a pattern on Attic 24 on Lucy's, which was squares. And I tried that, didn't think the multicoloured version would work, so I did it in just one colour. Liked that, and I did two, and then I sat down and thought, you know what, I'm not going to do this. I'm not good at doing things that, okay, the cozy memory blanket aside, because that builds as you go, I'm not a natural crocheter, so if I've got to make lots of squares and crochet them together as I go along, I thought I probably would be setting myself up to fail. So I decided to do a corner to corner, plain good old corner to corner crochet blanket. Oh, Henry's just gone rushing out the front. Hope that's not one of the builders, because otherwise we're going to get a whole chorus of barking. And again, I went to lovely Ellie's YouTube channel, and actually, no, it wasn't her channel, it was her Ravelry page. She recommended a channel tutorial, not her own, somebody else's, so I watched that and I was good to go. I bought the pattern, and for some reason I don't have it here, because actually I've got it I've remembered it. So, so this is the beginning of my corner to corner, which I think is looking really pretty. So I'm holding my mini skeins double. I don't like crocheting with 4-ply. I can't crochet with finer yarn. DK or fingering weight head double is the best I can do with crochet, to be totally honest. And I am, good old drops again. I decided I was going to stripe it with the light grey, the drops alpaca, mainly because I have that sort of thing in my stash, and I wanted to, I just suddenly thought, do you know what, it would look really pretty if I just put a grey stripe. So I'm doing 2 rows of the colours, but 1 row of the grey each time. you will notice the lack of any ends that need sewing in. So I'm making myself sew those in every few rows so that I don't have that huge amount at the end. But yeah, so this is looking really pretty. And I've ended up, again, quite by chance, deciding to do colour blocks. So this is all obviously blues. My next lot are going to be, I had some, that's a bit of a mess because I pulled out the middle and it's all over the place. But these, let's put that out of the way. These three are Mr. and Mrs. Rabbit yarn minis that I had from last year. Then that one was an odd Advent mini from a couple of years ago, I think. And that's the one I'm going to do next. So I'm sort of peachy browny colours next, which will go into this sort of chocolate orange. That's a leftover I had from a Fine Fish Yarns Advent I did a few years ago. So they're going to be the next batch of colours. So we'll see. I'm using a 4.5mm crochet hook. I think this is, yeah, it's a clover. It's nothing fancy again. It's just one I had in my drawer. I started off with a 4, but I think I'm quite a tight crocheter and it was too dense. So I went up to a 4.5 and it seems to be working. So they're the two blankets and I'm just really enjoying, with the little knitting-y crochet time I'm getting, actually putting some time into those. Oh, and look, I've got the stitch marker. That was from Lay Family Yarn. Well, it's from Simply Serving, who's in America, but Kelly is obviously stocking. Kelly is stocking them now, or at least she's got some. I don't know if you could see that. It's a mug of, I'm guessing, peppermint hot chocolate. It's so sweet. So I've just got it on there because I like it. Yeah, there we go. So that's really what I've been doing. I've been doing quite a lot of sewing. Yeah, I've been quilting. So I will show you that. I'm going to film that before I gift them, but I can't show you now, just in case my son watches this, which is about as likely as me landing on the moon. But I'm really pleased with the memory quilt I've made for him, and I've just got to stitch on the binding, and I'll machine stitch the binding and then turn it over and hand stitch it onto the back. I've been doing that. I've been doing plenty of journaling and trying to get myself organised, basically. So that's it. So I'm going to wish you all a happy Monday, and I hope that was, entertaining for you. Just a little update of the bits and pieces I've been doing. I'm not sure when I shall do another episode. Again, it won't be a full podcast episode because I think everybody's got so many Vlogmases to watch. But maybe next week I'll do another short one, just to say hi to everybody. Don't forget, if you are knitting along or making along with the prayerful make along on Instagram, do use the hashtag. I'm following that and I would love to see what you're making. That would be really nice. And in the meantime, I hope you'll have a lovely week. I've got about 13 more sleeps to go, I think, before Christmas. So yeah, sending you lots of love and keep cheerful.